Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us here at Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz Breezy Gipson on GranderRadio.com. How you doing, Breezy?
Oh man, it's an excellent day. I mean, everything is popping the way it's supposed to be popping. How about you?
Man, I'm doing great. It's my favorite time of the week, and so I'm glad that we get to, just vibe and listen to some music, and we actually have an interview with the one, the only Curtis Metcalf, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's a good time ahead. glad to have Curtis Metcalf, producer extraordinaire, MC, just multi-talented genius on the line with us today. How you doing?
I am cool. Peace. First, man, I'm choked up and stuff like that. You brought me in. Cool. Like, first of all, greetings, peace to everybody.
We're really glad to have you on with us today.
It's a pleasure.
All right. So why don't you let the listeners know a little bit about who you are, where you from, and what you do?
Ooh, okay. Let's kick it off. First, formal introduction. I am Curtis Metcalf, as Achickwitbeatz so put it. I'm a producer, beat maker, rhymer. Did a little graphic art, but that's like little dabs and stuff here and there. Mixer, engineer, movement mover. Just show love to those who show love to me, and kind of like push a movement along.
Yeah, that's what's up. I notice that everything you do is about moving the culture forward. Especially you're a bit of a hip hop historian too, I would say, right?
Yeah, that has always been a part of it. It's just that once I seen what other folks was online doing, it's like that's like my everyday conversation anyway. Like I can latch on to like what other folks may be doing, but then it's like a lot of what I see people doing, I knew already. It's just that they put it forward into their own thing, like applying it, like something you would do with the conversation things that you had on your website,
right,
stuff like that. So I seen other folks do it, and then there would be other people that were telling me, man, you could really do something with just the knowledge that you have, and it's just like, if you take it from a spare time thing to something you could push forward to and actually get inside the publishing world, then that's where that's at. So
right.
somebody had kicked it to me like one time, like, you need to do a podcast. And it's like, yeah, maybe I don't want to be out in public like that, but once you already got a foothold in music, you're already sort of a public figure. Since you do have to perform, you do have to get on the mic and get on a stage and let people see. It'd be so much of a blast for me to do it, and then just to see folks' faces that know me. It's just like, I didn't know he rapped or did all this stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like the route I took with it. If I wasn't doing music like a real regular thing, like right now I'm working on a few projects, but it's been like a distance of time between now and the last project I did. So in between time, that's the size of where the podcast would fill in at.
Okay, that's what's up. I know Breezy got some questions for you.
Oh man, already. Because see, the flow that I'm feeling right now is that multicultural, but multi-talented, but multi-dimensional, and see, also multi-generational, because some of the posts that you're making with the music, that's like, oh my goodness, that's the one right there, that's the jam right there. So you're just crossing over so many different ways, and it's all good.
Yeah. That comes from a real upbringing right there. Like, I wasn't like generally musically talented, but there was always music in the house. That we would be the biggest fans. Like, my mom was like on a whole lot of Motown and stuff. My dad loved like the Mississippi blues and stuff, like Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and stuff like that. So there was always stuff like that in the house, and just like how my musical taste is, their musical taste was just as diverse. And my dad, like, say for example, in my dad's record collection, you will find like a Muddy Waters or Howlin' Wolf record, but you also find a Jimmy Lynch or a Richard Pryor comedy record. or something like that. Something I ain't had no business listening to. And drop the needle on it and just like, kind of like be in the corner, letting them, not letting them know that I was listening to it, but it was there. But just like all the other music, it's there for you to grasp onto. Like a thing that I've seen online, and I love hip hop like this. When we have a conversation, that's why I love like how Breezy brought about like multicultural, also multidimensional too, because we as black people, we do have an effect on pop culture. Mm-hmm. Our music has been held back so long. I'm kind of glad you brought that question up, because it sends me down to that wormhole. Like, okay, you talk about the blues records. At first they was called race records because they was mostly like black bands and stuff, and then once the corporate heads of that time caught on and said like all it takes is to sell a record, then we're gonna own the means to produce these records and the curb the popularity and the whole revenue of the whole thing. So of course you replace the black face with a white face, and then they invented this, and the leaders of this. It's just like this new report I seen with Drake, and he almost has nothing to do with it, but it's like the whole singing. Who started the whole singing and rapping thing? When it was done way before Drake. In the days where Curtis Blow was doing it. He even back then, most old school rappers. Groups, the Cold Crush Brothers, their routines was based on like things that Earth, Wind and Fire did, all the way down to the wardrobe. So, I go off on a tangent and stuff. But yeah, as far as like the multi-dimensional thing, it's just like hip hop is the future. Even back in the '80s, like who would have thought that? Two turntables, and a microphone, and then somebody would just happen to somebody like Roger Lynn would invent a way to have that same technique inside of a box, inside of a drum machine, that could take this music and you could compose it a whole different way. I don't know if I lost anybody at that, but that's still mind blowing to me to this day, that we can make our music like this, and to make our names. We make a whole lot of different identities. Like all of us right here, right now, are using aliases. We use a whole different day. You Achickwitbeatz, you Breezy Gipson, I'm Curtis Metcalf. And it's awesome. It's awesome to even think that you could go down that lane that way. Yeah. I don't want to get lost in anything. What was the original question, though?
well, and just going back to those four categories. Okay.
Yeah.
Multicultural, multi-dimensional, multi-talented, and then I had that thing in my
all the multis.
Yeah, I'd have got him flustered out. The short answer to that is like dipping your finger or dipping your toe into all that all those different ponds of water. Multitasking. Let's try multicultural. Multicultural it's with the music, and no matter what your skin color is, if they like it, they like it. If they if they groove to your music, let them. It ain't until somebody like learns the background and the meaning to it, let them rock with it.
Right.
Yeah. Now
that's what. Yeah.
Yeah. See, now when you pull up in a gas station somewhere, or when you're driving down the street, you come to the traffic light, or other different places. Now, all three of us on this line, we already know where I'm going, because we can come up to those traffic lights and gas stations or whatever, and you hear the music, and then you take a glance over to the other side to see where the music is coming from, and it's coming from, I'll say it like this, it's coming from a multicultural origin, and you say, well, oh, they're listening to this, and guess what? They are.
Yeah, it blows me. It still blows me. It's no surprise, but it blows me. I'm gonna tell you the first time it blew me like that. I was in 10th grade, and I think I was out at the mall. I was out in public somewhere, and I was with my brother. He would take us and his kids around the city, and we'd probably like go to putt golf or something like that. But in one of those instances, it was a group of guys, a group of white guys, and they was like playing Dr. Dre's The Chronic, and they was laughing, and they was just like, what y'all know about that? Like, wow, and then, the content of the album and all that, so it's just like, it's believable, but it was kind of like a culture shock right there, because like, especially with me, I have cousins that I literally grew up with them playing like the Police, Guns N' Roses, and Neo and stuff like that. Roger Waters, Pink Floyd, all that. You know what I'm saying? So you get in another part of that multicultural thing right there, because you had to listen to the music to like really get the meaning, and even when you got the meaning, you come to find out years later that it meant something else. So it's like trade-offs left and right there.
Right.
Like when hip-hop became the big selling music and it took over the pop culture attention span, everybody wanted something to do with it then.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of like changed the way that people thought, whether it be like a casual listener, somebody's first time was their first time dealing with it, and they either went ahead with it or they left it alone altogether.
Right.
Okay, and if I could cut in, I got that last multi, and see that last multi was multi-generational. So it's one thing if it's a Michael Jackson type of thing, okay, where, we all saw and heard the Jackson 5 come up and Michael Jackson, how he evolved into his own thing. But see, now, it's the underground music that when you hear that and you peep over and you see who's booting that in their car stereo, that's when you say, okay, I understand Michael Jackson, but this sound right here, they going deep, and
right.
It out. Yes, sir.
Right, like somebody, you passing by somebody and they playing like MF Doom out in public or something like that.
There you go.
Some things that we think that are so underground that you wouldn't think people would be into, and it actually happens to be the thing that they're into.
Right.
I put MF Doom as an example because, like, if you know where Doom comes from, then that's a wild phenomenon altogether. Like when Doom became a thing, there was already Mos Def, Talib Kweli, that whole New York independent Renaissance hip hop phenomenon that was happening when cats was like spending a $400 or $500 to press up like 200 pieces of wax and taking it up to Beat Street Records or something like that, or people that was taking their demos. They took a chance and took their demos up to like the Stretch Armstrong show with Bob Vito, and they would get down like that, and then it was just that organic property raising right there, and then it manifested itself into some physical records and stuff. And people really wanted to see certain folks win that was like held back in the industry. Because see, Doom was in the industry as a part of the group KMD, and then all the whole circumstances of why he just dipped off the scene. One of those things was like the upheaval at Elektra Records when groups like KMD, Brand Nubian, Leaders of the New School had broke up, Dale the Funky Homo Sapien from Hieroglyphics, all of them got like unceremoniously dropped from their deals, and I think that was a whole thing with Elektra Entertainment restructuring, doing some restructuring with Sylvia Rhone at the head of it. You know what I'm saying? Because after that, Busta Rhymes came out solo and Missy Elliott came along. It was about, you know, the whole attitude with the record label was about like, you know, we going platinum or bust. We know we got the talent. You know, some people believe in the talent, and then through another means it goes a whole nother way if you did what I'm saying. You know,
right.
Like, yeah, it's just like with certain people you had brought it up for a time period, because before the rappers got on Elektra, it was about Anita Baker at the time, you know, because she was on the label and then she was out. So back to the Doom thing. Once he started making his records and making his reputation, people didn't know who he was really. He was just a dude. They didn't even have, you know, he was dropping records, and then he didn't even have there were no covers to the 12-inch singles up until like a certain point. So leading up until like the album Operation Doomsday dropping, it was just like, all right, we celebrating a time where there's still albums coming out from people who care about hip hop. You know, the big sellers. We well into the Jiggy era right now. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, people had chose sides.
Yeah.
You either with the popular people, like your Puff Daddy and stuff, and people who sells like gold and platinum upwards, and then you have your people who really care about the hip hop and didn't want people like Nas to make albums like It Was Written and stuff. You know, do the original hip hop sound that you specialize in, that you got us, that you know that you made us fans of first.
Right.
You had a whole commercial versus underground collision going on right there. Me personally, I like both sides of it. Both sides of it. You know, somebody has to have records that sell, and also people have to have music that is the design of the culture today.
Right.
People who really stick to their guns. Yeah, people who really stick to their guns and make these records without clearing samples. Make these records that still has the DJ scratching on it and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, when is your next seminar? See, I'm sitting here, I'm just soaking up all of this, you know. I'm like, you know, you are like on a major level for doing seminars and speaking engagements, and because all of this is it's on the educational tip, but at the same time, it's like joyously delicious. I'm like, oh man, okay, he's going here, he's going there. So when is your next seminar, brother? When is your next seminar?
Well, I ain't on that KRS-One level yet to where I have a sensitive amount of albums behind me, you know, in the discography to where it dictates to me where I can do seminars, you know what I'm saying? But as we say, a lot of that of what I've spoken on is what I've experienced, and it's all free game, and things that you could do for free, you don't do it for free, get paid for it, you know. See, that's all a part of what has been told to us, you know. You're like, you know, if you could do something, get paid for it, do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not closed off. I'm not closed off from doing seminars.
Right. Well, until you start launching the official seminars, why don't you give the people the name of your podcast and where they can catch you?
Yes. I have been doing a podcast since November 9th, 2019. It's called Fresh on My Fresh Podcast. It's currently on hiatus now. I'm getting some things straightened out with the podcast. It has to do with me. Some of the craziest things happen to me in life as far as like moving forward, social media wise, or just being a public figure. at that. You know, Fresh My Fresh, I was playing. I give so much love to people, and I play their music on my podcast, like in the background while I'm doing my seminar, quote unquote. and I was checking. People would hit me up. They listen to the show. They love the show, and they say some of the same things that you said, Breezy, about like, you know, you gave a lot. You gave a lot of thought, and I like what you said right here. It really opened my eyes and made me look at things another way. So, well, you know, with that being said, I was playing music on there from people that I would dig. Like, I would play somebody like Big Low from Pensacola and stuff. He has like a few instrumental beat tapes is what we call them, that he released over maybe the few past months, like a year or so ago. And I would play their stuff. Like, I really believe like the last episode I did is what got me cut off, because I was trying to people hit me up, and I was trying to check on my distribution status about the podcast being on Anchor. And you know, Anchor, it gives you what does it do? It distributes you to other streaming services that have podcasts, like Spotify, Apple Music, and all that. So I was really tinkering on how to get my stuff on other podcasts, because people ask me, like, you ain't on Apple Music, you ain't on Spotify or these other ones. And this is before I found out there was more little podcast spots than I thought it was. So in the process of all doing that, I was talking to, like, you know, the FAQs and the Anchor support. They went back and looked at stuff, and then they hit me with the email, was like saying, we got to take your podcast down because you have copyrighted material.
Man.
That always tripped me out, but yeah, that happened, and that allowed me. You know how you could get ahead of yourself?
Yeah.
You know how you can get ahead of yourself? You might be steadfast in what you're doing, and you're gonna get it done.
Right.
You have to see it be there for it to be finished. So I was trying to work ahead. I was trying to work ahead of some stuff, and that is like, you know, it was one of them signs that's telling me, yo, you got to slow down for a minute. just take a breath and look thoroughly at how stuff is done. You know what I'm saying? Like, read the whole terms and conditions of everything, and come back to it like you're supposed to. So right now I'm on hiatus. I will announce when the new episode will be up, and so we can get all those people back on task.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you were working on is awesome, and the same type of information, all these gems that he just gave us here on the Music Marvels with the Achickwitbeatz Breezy Gipson show. He gave that all the time on Fresh My Fresh. So make sure you keep a lookout for it, because as soon as he returns, you want to be on it. I promise.
Absolutely.
What I want to say is what both of y'all doing has been a great inspiration to not only me. You know, it's kind of inspiration to start Fresh My Fresh too. And you gave it all up. Like, you put me on to a whole lot of people, a whole lot of artists that I haven't heard before. Like, I became a fan of the brother Proverb, rest in peace of Proverb. Who else? Desert Ease and stuff. You know, you really gave me my first interview.
That's what's up. I'm happy to be able to do that. And yeah, that was an awesome interview too. That was one of the things I said. I'm like, yeah, let's update it. Let's do this here on Music Marvel.
Yeah, no doubt.
For our listeners, then, you know, the future sounds rosy for you. You're putting some things together behind the scenes, taking this break time to put some other additional building blocks together for this, that, the other. And so, in my opinion, it's like, oh, they better watch out, because on the return, the return is just going to be just like on a different galaxy. Some kind of different galaxy. Right, Achick? Don't you think?
Yeah. Most definitely. So,
that's what people have been saying. Like, it's like, yeah, people look at me like, like in the old stories, the monster that lives at the top of the hill up, then, he comes out every now and then to terrorize the townspeople in the valley or something like that, When I come back out, it's a real serious thing. It's not without the preparation and everything. So right now, I just happen to be in the lab, working on a project now. So it's with me and a guy y'all did an interview with before, my man Mike Pendleton. Rudy P. We putting together the Rudy Gang project.
Okay.
Yeah, we putting together a project and stuff. It's gonna be called Rudy Gang. I'm probably like maybe 5 or 6 tracks deep off into it and stuff. And we going back and forth, like bouncing ideas off of each other and getting it down pat before we move forward with anything.
See, right now is where we need to be able to push that button. Red alert. Red alert.
Right.
Red alert.
It's coming.
I also have I have an idea that I'm putting together real tight right there. In addition to my Beats Working instrumental series, I'm redoing and recalibrating a couple of things, and I'm gonna represent that whole package as like in some physical form. Like I want to get it on wax, but I will have like CDs and the novelty cassette available for folks who want to get that. Put some collective items out there.
Mm-hmm. Right. That sounds like a plan. I can't wait. Cooking up some big things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I know how to do.
Wow, well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So why don't you make sure you let people know where they can keep up with what you're doing, where they can follow, like, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Run it down. I ain't gonna. Well, follow me on Twitter. Search Curtis _ Let me start that over. You can find me. You can search Curtis _ Metcalf 1 on Twitter. I'm usually with the hijinks, but mostly about the music. I usually tell everybody I'm about the music, and then you can follow me everywhere else. Oh yeah, I'm on SoundCloud too. Yes, SoundCloud still exists and stuff. While I'm building everything, I'm building up the Bandcamp page, and a website. A website's coming soon. Probably a Patreon or something. But
right.
For all that, you want to get in on the ground floor, go to search for me on Twitter, Curtis _ Metcalf 1.
All right, so dope. Yeah, we really glad to have you on. If there's anything else that you want to leave the people with, feel free to go ahead and drop that science. But yeah, we really appreciate you for rocking with us.
Okay, I appreciate y'all too, for sure. Last words, man. Whatever's in your heart, do it. I'll just leave it simple like that. Whatever's in your heart, do it. If you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and you're going to be mad they did it.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
It might be better than what you did, or it might be better than what you could have done. You just go ahead and do it, man.
Right. Yeah, that's good advice, words of wisdom. You have anything to add to that, Breezy?
Oh, man, it's just a red alert. It's a real red alert. Matter of fact, it's a real red alert. He's in there. I'll leave it right there.
All right.
That's righteous, y'all. That's right.
Well, that's what's up. Yeah, thank you again for your time, your energy, and all your wisdom and all the gems that you dropped. And yeah, we gotta have you back sometime soon.
Anytime you need me, just let me know.
Will do. All right. Thank you for rocking with us so far. We just needed to pause for the cause for a minute, and just kind of giving you a little glance into what we do. I'm a chick with beats, which means that I'm a chick with beats. I produce music, and you can always check out what I've got going on Achickwitbeatz.com. I also have resources for artists available. So, if you have questions about the music industry or, different ways to promote your music, make sure you check it out. Achickwitbeatz.com. That's ACHICKWITBEATZ. beatzv.com.
Yeah, it's multifaceted, and I have a great week every week, and I actually have a way for artists to kind of zone in and get important legal questions answered. Your music is your business. Your music is our business. And so a lot of times artists get caught up making decisions that they really regret later. So we don't want that to happen. So give us a shout, and we can get some help on that end. And also, for those out there, real quick, who are just tapping into one of the big problems in the world these days, which is germs and viruses, got a little something for you on the entrepreneurial end that can help you generate a global, not just neighborhood business, but global business. So check me out at lastgerm.com. And if you see something you like, hit me back, and we'll go further at 470-869-2202.
Awesome. So, just so you know, we're here to provide you some tunes to kind of groove with, rock with, chill out to, and, bringing you talented people from all over the globe. And we're here to help you as well. So make sure you reach out to us. it's been real. It's about that time to wind the show down. You know, it's been really, really, really fun. We've had a great time. We really appreciate you for rocking with us. Thank you. You know, make sure that you tune in. We're here with GranderRadio.com every Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So make sure that you tune in, stick with us, and, you know, we got another great show coming up for you next week, right, Breezy?
Yes, in the place to be right here, Grander Radio. We love them. We love you, and be looking forward to the next time.
Peace.